What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports here on the Michigan channel at the Voice of College Football. We're going to break down the brand new FPI ranking for 2022 and see where Michigan stands. You can see that they are ranked number 7 in the FPI. 16.5 is their number. So that means against an average team on a neutral field, the FPI would say that Michigan would win by 16.5 points. So they would win by about 17 points there, and it's an average team on a neutral field. So who is an average team? Well, according to the FPI, an average team would be Toledo. Let's see, UAB is probably the close. UAB and Tulane are like the closest to 0. So those are your average teams. So against UAB or Tulane, Michigan would win by about 17 points. Kind of disagree with that. I think Michigan would beat both of those teams by more than that, especially with the offense they have coming back this year. But anyways, that's what the FPI says, and that's really what we're trying to do here is just break down the numbers from the FPI. They have them at 9.5 and 2.6. That's the win-loss total there, including a potential Big Ten championship game. Again, that also seems kind of low. I mean, this team, 9-3, 10-2 is probably where most people are going to put them. So yeah, I guess that seems to make sense there. But they do have a pretty favorable schedule. So I'm a little surprised that's not closer to 10-2, but it's right there in the middle of 9-3 and 10-2. Win out percentage going undefeated, just a 1.2% chance. That's also really low to me. I understand Ohio State's on the schedule. It's a road game. It's going to be very tough. Ohio State's going to be favored in that game. But that's really the only game where you look and say that Michigan doesn't have at least a really good chance of winning. I mean, they're going to be favorites in most of the games that they play. And again, they have a really good chance to win the other 11 games outside of Ohio State. So that's telling me that the FBI really thinks Ohio State is going to win that game. And the numbers for Ohio State are really, really high. I mean, the FBI loves Ohio State. They actually give them a 32.5% chance of going undefeated. So that's really why I think that number is so low. It's simply because of that Ohio State game. They have a 99.8% chance to get to 6 wins. I'd put that at 100% with the schedule that they play. I mean, Michigan's going to get to a bowl game this year. And then how about winning the Big Ten East? They have a 9.9% chance, so right there, about a 10% chance to win the East. Not a great chance, and again, it's all because of Ohio State. Ohio State has like an 80% chance to win the Big Ten East. So the FBI really thinks that Ohio State's going to win not only the division, but win the conference. So Michigan sitting there with, the next highest number to win the division, 9.9. Behind them is Penn State at 6.6%. So no one really with a shot outside of Ohio State according to these FPI numbers. Let's move on to winning the conference. They have a 7.2% chance of winning the Big Ten. That means if they do make it to the Big Ten championship game, they're almost guaranteed to win that game. Not a lot of separation between those two numbers. And the FBI really likes the Big Ten East and doesn't really like the Big Ten West. So that's why you see that really with any of the teams out of the East. So they have a 7.2% chance of winning the Big Ten. Ohio State has a 73.6% chance. Penn State at 4.3, the next highest team. So once again, it's like Ohio State is just so far above everyone else in the Big Ten, according to the FPI. And how about making the college football playoff? Now this is interesting. A 14.8% chance to make the playoff. So they have almost or over twice the percentage here to make the playoff than they do to win the Big Ten. That means that the FBI can see a path, and I've been looking at this. If Michigan wins all of their games, but they lose to Ohio State, they go 11-0, then lose to Ohio State, and Ohio State's undefeated, and they're in the college football playoff. It's going to be hard to keep Michigan out of the playoff at 11-1 with that one loss coming to the number 1 or number 2 team in the country. So I definitely agree with this. I think Michigan does have a better chance of making the college football playoff than they do of winning the Big Ten. There is absolutely a path for them to get to the playoff without winning the Big Ten. They've got some tough games, Michigan State, Penn State, Iowa on the road, but all games that they can win. And because of that, again, there is a path for Michigan, a pretty decent path at 14.8%, according to the FBI, of making it to the college football playoff without even winning the Big Ten. So they have a better chance than Oklahoma. I guess they're at number 7 as far as their chances to make the college football playoff, right there with the FPI ranking. So we'll see. We'll see if that turns out to be a possibility. But again, beating Ohio State seems to be what the FBI does not expect Michigan to do. They have a 4.2% chance of making it to the national championship, meaning if they get to the playoff, about a 1 in 3 chance that they will win that first playoff game, and then a 1.3% chance to win the national championship. So they have a tiny higher percentage with winning the national championship compared to going undefeated in the regular season and in the Big Ten championship. So they have a better chance. I mean, it's barely, but they have a better chance of going 11-1 and then going on to win the national championship than they do of going 13-0. Again, it all comes back to Ohio State. The FPI really likes Ohio State, and that's why these numbers for Michigan are a little bit lower than you might expect. It's Michigan, and it's everyone else in the Big Ten. We'll see how it plays out. Would love to get your thoughts on this. What do you think about these rankings? What do you think about Michigan and these percentages? Give me your thoughts down in the comments below.